Alright guys, I forgot what I was gonna say. Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of In the Shop with CustomLowz. It is episode 18 today. We are gonna quickly hang up that cabinet we got. I got the Tapcon, so we're gonna hang that cabinet up. I'll give you guys a couple quick tips and tricks on how to hang a cabinet on a cinder block wall. Then we're gonna start moving on to the Impala doors. We gotta make some progress on that thing like now. So I'm gonna start working on those doors and I'll bring you guys back in when I'm ready to hang this cabinet and show you what's going on. All right, so I'm using a standard concrete tap screw. Tapcon is the normal brand that you're gonna find. These ones right here are 1/4 by 2 3/4. I like to go with something that has a decent length to it. One thing I would recommend is making sure that, because some of these 2 3/4 are going to have only about, maybe this much of the thread, and the rest of it is going to be a smooth shank. You want to have some thread in this part like this does, all the way down here, because when you're in the wood, you want to make sure your actual thread is biting into the wood and into the wall. So just make sure you watch out for that. That's the only thing I would say. I'm going to start getting this cabinet hung up. I got my hammer drill and my impacts ready to go. I started marking out. I did center and 4 inches from the sides. I'm going to go, I got 12 Tapcons, so I'll probably go 3 bottom, 3 middle, 3 top. That'll leave me some extras for later on if I ever need them. Use my level to level this thing up. I will show you guys next step. Alright, so I got all the holes drilled. I decided to use all 12 of them. I don't know why I was going to not put them on the middle shelf, but not the middle shelf, the very top shelf. You're better off having them in every cleat, because obviously I put the cleat so the shelf doesn't sag. So got all 3, 6, 9, 12 holes drilled. We're going to put this on the wall and get it hung. All right, we got this thing up there. As you see, I got 3, 6, 9, 12, 3 Tapcons into each cleat. This thing definitely ain't going anywhere. I'm gonna start loading up as much of this crap as I can get on there, and then we'll be a little more organized. I've been meaning to get this cabinet done for freaking ever, but now that I have so much stuff here, I gotta get this done. So let's get this filled up, and then. So as you've seen in the video, I don't know how easy it is to tell from a time lapse. It definitely is difficult to hang it by yourself. I would recommend having someone with you. If you do have to hang it up for yourself, what I do is I'll hold the cabinet up, drill in 1 Tapcon so it's against the wall, secure, and then I'll level it off and then do probably like the opposite corner to that, so then the cabinet is not gonna move side to side. So it can be a little difficult, but it's definitely possible to hang it by yourself. Always make sure you put more than enough Tapcons in there. I wouldn't underestimate the weight you're going to put in your cabinets. You never have enough. I mean, what's going to happen? You're going to have to take more Tapcons out when you remove the cabinet later on. Don't even worry about that. So I recommend always putting in more than you think you need. Especially with us, we're always loading these cabinets up crazy heavy. So let's get this thing filled up finally. All right, so we got the shelf up there. Everything is organized. It worked out pretty awesome. There's a few things, obviously, subs, those giant horns, rolls of wire, I don't really want to put up there anyway. Maybe if they would have fit, I might have, but we got a little more room for another cabinet later on. Right now, I also got this big piece of plexi up there. So that's out of the way. My cat is He's napping. But we're gonna start getting some work done. All right, so I gotta get this port mounted into this enclosure. Now, this does not have a flush mount, so I'm not gonna be able to center it with the flush mount. So I'm gonna show you guys a quick trick to center this port when you do not have a flush mount on there. All right, so you really only need a few things: tape, a compass, and the port. Also, you need a drill too. Where's my drill at? Drill. This is the wrong bit, obviously. Well, not obviously. You don't know that, but Phillips bit, 1/8 inch drill bit, so you can countersink your holes. Not countersink your holes. Pre-drill your holes, and that's it. So I realized this trick might be so advanced that if you could do it, you might already know it, or maybe even if you. I don't want to say a compass is like an advanced tool, but a lot of people don't have them unless they're like fabricators and they're doing a lot of stuff like I do. So I would definitely suggest a compass. A really cool tool. I use it for a ton of stuff, doing different shapes, scribing different things, getting templates. This really helps. This is like a lifesaver tool. So I mean, I probably use this at least 2 times a week minimum. But anyway, if you're lost on this trick, I'm sorry, but it should be pretty simple to follow, and I'll try to make it as easy as possible. You do need to do some math, so you're gonna have to measure your mounting hole, which this one here is 11 5/16, and then you also need to measure the outside diameter of your port. All right, so the outside perimeter on the port on this one is 12 5/16. Now, even on the website, it lists that the dimensions will be slightly different, just based on how he makes them. They're not mass produced, he makes them by hand, so make sure you measure yours. Don't just go off this video. This video is just to get the reference of doing the trick. So you got your outside diameter of the port, the measurement, so you from your hole to your hole, that's 12 5/16. And then here we got from far point to far point 11 5/16. So that is 1 inch bigger overall. So that means you have a 1/2 inch on both sides of the hole you have here. So we're gonna take the compass and set the distance between, let's see if that focuses in, the pencil point and the, I guess, metal tip. Set that to 1/2 inch, and then you're gonna run it, scribe it around your circle. So let me get this set up, and then I'll show you guys how to scribe it around. All right, so as you could probably see, let me focus in, focus. Where's it at? Come on. Wow, this thing doesn't want to focus up on this. Let's see here. Oh, there we go. Okay, so you see how the pencil tip's kind of dull. I did kind of account for that, so I probably set it to 9/16. So I'm just going to scribe this around here, taking your metal point and running it on the inside corner of your hole. Just going to keep going around. And it is easier if you're not going against the grain of your tape. So try not to go over where your tape is overlapping, because then you'll end up just like right there. You'll end up snagging it. Again, I should follow my own tips. All right, so keep going all the way around, and that should roughly be the outside perimeter of the sub, or not the sub, the port rather. See, slightly around there, you got the pencil line. So you're gonna center your port in there. You'll be able to follow the pencil line all the way around and see that you're lined up. Then, before I drill, I like to take a fine point Sharpie and just go inside the holes, just to make sure. So just pinpoint my holes, go all the way around. I'd rather be certain than just go from this point to drilling. So even if I'm experienced or don't know what I'm doing, I'm still gonna do this part. All right, so you got that all marked out. All right, then you can see your holes. All right, so they look all good to me. Really what you're looking out for is like ones that are way close to the edge or something like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my drill bit out and start pre-drilling these. So you wanna try to make sure you drill your hole as straight and level as possible. if you go towards the, if you angle it, you might go towards the inside, and you'll likely blow out the wood, and that just won't hold very strong. So make sure you hold your drill really straight when you're drilling. So I'm going all the way through. Sometimes you're gonna have like, in the port opening is gonna be in an area where you can see it. Say you have a plexiglass window like this one does, you probably don't wanna drill all the way through, because then you'll see the screws poking through the back side of the wood. But this one does have a plexi window, but it's way too far to the one side that you'll never even see the port opening. So I'm going all the way through, also because I'm using a bit of a longer screw. The box is built for a Pride Audio S315, and I believe he's putting it on a Sundown 6K, so I want to make sure this port is secured like really well. And I got some great responses for the intern program, so hopefully in the next week or so you guys will start seeing episodes with my intern. I'm definitely going to involve them in it if they want to be involved in it. I think just the videos and posting this stuff, it's also a good track of your progress as well. So hopefully soon we'll see an apprentice in here helping me out, and we'll start knocking some builds out real quick. I have a special project in mind that I haven't showed anybody yet, that I'm probably going to have them start on, so you guys will see that. I'm not going to tell you what it is until we start working on it, but I'm sure you'll like it. Alright, so we got our holes drilled. Obviously I'm just peeling off the tape now. And then we're going to stick the port on there. So one super important thing I didn't point out, and I made the mistake myself actually, I just did, but luckily I was able to kind of move it around enough to figure it out. The ports have mounting holes all the way around them, and they're countersunk. They are not fucking even for nothing. I've never had one be, so just like you see me set the port in there, and I pre-drilled everywhere, and I went through and drilled all the holes. It's essential, crucial that you make sure you mark which way is up or something, so you know the orientation of the holes, because I promise you, from the bottom hole to the top hole, if you flip it, none of your other holes are going to line up. They may be somewhere close, but they're not going to line up. So I made that mistake. I want to make sure you guys don't. I want to point that out. What I would do is basically just take a piece of tape and put a piece of tape on your box, put a piece of tape on your port, and that's kind of how you know. So you'll have your tape on the port, tape on the box, because these holes are really and truly, they're way off. If you rotate it even this much, I mean, you can almost even see just from that hole, look how far off these are. This isn't a diss in any way either. It's just, I'm just pointing this out just as a tip, because I know he makes these by hand, and it would be impossible to try to set up some crazy jig. Well, it would not be impossible, but for the amount that these cost, I could not fathom him taking the time and spending the money into setting up some complicated jig to make sure all these holes are exactly equal distance from each other, even at these points. So it is what it is, but you got to make sure you mark it out. So I suggest putting a piece of tape on the box and a piece of tape on the port right at the hole and right beside the hole, so you know exactly which rotation your port goes in. Is there any questions on what type of screw I'm using? I got these from Home Depot. They're Everbuilt number 8 1-inch Phillips, flathead Phillips screws. So I already drilled these holes. I'm gonna go put all these screws in and get this thing secured in here. All right, we got this thing in here, nice and centered. The screws went in well. Hopefully this tip helped you guys. It's a little odd of a trick, but I figured since I'm doing it, I might as well make a video out of it. So here you guys go, a little tip for you guys, getting that poured in. This enclosure looks awesome. I can't wait for the customer to get this thing. I'm gonna be packaging it now actually, just so I can get prepared to ship it out to them. Well, we're not going to get to the Impala doors in this episode, but we will get back to them in the next episode. So make sure you stay tuned tomorrow for another episode of In the Shop with CustomLowz. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. For all of you who've been watching since episode 1, thank you so much. For all of you who just tuned in now, make sure you guys subscribe to my channel. Everyone like this video and drop me a comment below. Let me know what you think of everything. So I will see you guys again on another episode tomorrow. This has been episode 18.